You love me. I don't even know you. What?
I love you, Chris.
You love me.
And I'll prove it. I'll do anything for you. I'll die.
No.
I'll die for myself.
No.
Yes, I will.
Yes, through all the stuff that we've put you through on this concealed carry journey, I would imagine that the scenario-based training was probably the most intense.
Yeah.
So we're going to watch it quickly here. You're seeing this from the perspective of the camera for the first time.
Right.
You lived it, so you
Yeah.
understand what you saw
Right.
on stage. But now let's take a quick look at what you see here.
Jess.
Hey, Chris,
Hey.
how are you?
I'm good. Thanks for meeting me for lunch.
Yeah, no problem.
How's it going?
It's good. Yeah, it's been really good. Busy.
Yeah, I bet. I have to tell you something.
Okay.
The weirdest thing happened to me today.
Really?
Actually, it's been happening for a couple days. Outside the office, there's been this weird guy just kind of lurking around. Every time I walk outside, he just stares at me.
That's weird.
Getting a super weird vibe, and honestly, like, I really don't know what to do with it.
Hey, girls.
Hi, how are you?
What is that?
I'm hungry.
Hungry.
It's
Yeah.
you want some ice cream? I'm gonna go get some
place
ice
for
cream.
Woo.
You could use a
Sounds good.
sweet tea. A calm down, boy. That's more than I can handle. Let me see that.
What was that?
I don't know.
That was weird.
That was really weird.
Speaking of weirdos. How's everything else going?
Yeah, it's going really good. Just bought a house and moving in,
Oh, that's
getting
so
settled.
exciting.
Yeah, it's really fun.
Jess, that's the guy. That's the creepy
Hey,
guy I was telling
How are
you
you?
about.
Hi. Hi, Chris.
Chris, how do you know my name?
Well, we're meant to be together, Chris, and
We're meant to be together?
I love you.
You love me. I don't
I
even
love
know
you,
you.
Chris.
What?
I love you, Chris.
You love me.
And I'll prove it. I'll do anything for you. I'll die.
No.
I'll die for myself.
No.
Yes, I will. I'll die to myself. I'll die for you. Jess, if I can't live you, no one can live. Oh.
End scenario. Stop, put your gun on the ground, please. Everybody okay? Anthony, you good? Good. Jess?
Yep,
You good?
good.
You're good? Chris, thank you. Come on, let's go up on stage and talk about this. Nope. It's pretty good. You're behind cover, verbalizing well.
Yeah.
I would have liked to say, put the gun down, get away or something. You can see you're still tense. You're making the same face now that
Yeah.
you made there. It was tense.
Yeah.
Just watching it, is it something that you want to replay again, or you don't want? Yeah.
Well, certainly I don't want to. you
Yeah.
know, I hope that I never have to actually go through something like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, watching it, I feel like those emotions of like just feeling anxious.
Jason, when he came out,
Yeah.
the decoy guy who came out first, were you thinking you had to be nice to him, or is that just you fall into the?
I think I just fall into that.
Some weirdo guy comes and asks you for ice cream, and you're like, okay, get on out of here, buddy.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have to remember that we can control that distance. We can do that with our words
Yeah.
and keep people back, and we don't have to always be super pleasant. I mean, you did everything exceptionally well.
Okay.
I would have, the one thing I would have liked to hear a little bit more verbal commands. But other than that, you were presented with an imminent deadly threat. You moved to cover, you responded. You did everything you were supposed to do.
Yeah.
Shoot, assess, shoot again if you need to. We can only use what is objectively reasonable force.
Right.
So if you start shooting him again while he's down on the ground,
Yeah.
you go from self-defense to, at the very least, aggravated assault and probably attempted murder or something like that. So,
Right. The one thing I did see was watching myself kind of get up and move from the rock a bit, kind of not like I was going to be walking towards him, but getting up kind of over him to make sure that if he was going to try to get his gun again, that I had the ability to shoot again if I needed to.
Maybe I could have let that go just another 5 seconds to see what you had done. But at that point, you had done everything really, really well. And I
Okay.
really wanted to get you up to the panel and start talking about that. So
Okay.
we're going to watch it quickly here, talk about it as it goes through.
On over, we will.
Right at that point, you looked very calm.
This is your scenario.
Inside, I was not.
You're going to meet your friend Chris. You're going to talk about lunch. You're going to deal with whatever comes
As you
your
walked up
way.
to this,
Have a
did you
seat.
see anything that tipped you off
Prepared.
got any clues?
We are set.
No.
Okay.
Begin scenario.
Though I've kind of been working on, whenever I go into any
Jess.
store, facility, building, whatever, the first thing I'm usually looking for is the exits and then cover. Those are the two first things that I have started working on and training to do.
Yeah,
Well, we
I bet.
tried to give you a piece of
I bet
cover.
something.
Did it stand out right away?
Yeah.
That's been happening for a couple of days. Outside the office, there's been this weird guy just kind of lurking around. Every time I walk
When we
outside,
do scenario-based
he
training,
just stares at me.
we try to
It's a
give you
super
little
weird vibe,
clues
and
of what's
honestly,
going
like,
on.
I really
That's what we
Yeah.
had Chris talking about.
Yeah.
Hi, how are you?
I'm hungry. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
you want some ice cream? I'm gonna go get some
Let's
ice
go lunch.
cream.
Woo.
You could use a
Good.
sweet tea.
So
Yeah, I was
Yeah.
a little jumpy.
you knew you were in the proving ground.
Yeah, certainly that would not have happened in real life. I
Yeah.
was already pretty jumpy and anxious.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that was,
How's it going?
All right. So that's typically we have a decoy.
Right.
And just sort of try to
That's the
put
guy.
people
That's
off
the
guard.
guy I was telling
How are
about.
you?
yeah,
Hi.
And you greeted him
Hi,
with a
Chris.
pretty happy greeting.
Chris,
Hey, how are
How do
you?
you know my name?
yeah.
We're meant to be together, Chris, and
We're meant to be together?
I love you.
You
I
love
don't
me.
remember him
don't know
saying
you.
any
What?
of this.
I love you, Chris.
You love me.
And I'll prove it. I'll do
So
anything
what
for
prompted you to get
I'll
up and
die-
move?
No.
I'll die for myself.
No.
You
Yes,
moved
I will.
before
fact
he
that
drew
he
the
was
gun.
just getting
I'll die
too
for you.
close.
Jess,
Yeah.
if I can't live you, no one can live. Come on.
End scenario. Stop, put your gun on the ground, please.
All right.
Everybody okay? Anthony, you good? Jess?
Yep,
You good?
good.
You're good? Chris, thank you. Come on, let's go up on stage.
All
and
right.
talk about this.
So happened pretty quickly, doesn't it?
Yeah.
So and I ask you, how come you only shot him once? And that was my first question. And
Yeah.
think through now. What did you see when you fired that shot?
For me, honestly, I don't even remember pulling the trigger, to be
Okay.
honest. I don't remember that. The only reason I think I only shot once is I just saw him go down and I didn't see him as a threat anymore.
Yeah, threat stop
Yeah.
shooting. That's what we've been teaching,
Right.
preaching from the very start is that
Right.
only enough force to stop the threat.
Right.
How did you feel about your positioning behind the rock? Were you comfortable with that? Were you, now that you look at it, your arms were kind of out over the rock a little bit?
Could have been a little
know.
bit lowered, but I don't know that from my own skill set at that, knowing where I'm at, I probably would have had a harder time.
Yeah.
But yeah, I could have, covered a little better. Obviously,
well,
I was pretty exposed.
I'm certainly not chastising you about the use of cover, especially
Mm-hmm.
for someone brand new. You got behind something that will stop bullets. We gave you the
Yeah.
choice. We gave you cover or concealment.
Right.
We gave you a place to hide or a place that would actually stop bullets.
'Kay.
And you chose perfectly on that, and you moved there quickly. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, we tell people all the time, when the gun comes out, something bad is going to happen.
Yeah,
So,
and I honestly don't remember seeing his face. I just watching him getting closer and knowing that we just needed to create that distance. I think that was my initial focus, and
Yeah.
then as soon as he drew the gun out, I pulled mine out. But it was weird because I don't remember getting actually from the park bench to taking cover. That
Yeah.
part is
Yeah, and we gave you what we call pre-threat indicators. We gave you lots of those. We were kind of feeding them to you. Chris's story was something that we wanted you to hang on and start with.
Right.
And listen to what she was saying.
Right.
Because a lot of people get confused or get preoccupied when they come into proving ground. They're not really listening to what the other person is saying.
Right.
So clearly you heard that and you
Yeah.
knew when she said, that's him, that's the guy.
Yeah.
You started thinking that, well, let me ask you, what did you start thinking at that point when she said that's him, that's the guy?
I mean, it's somebody's stalking you. The first thing you want to do is try to leave, and he just, all I saw, I just was watching his hands. That for me was, and the
Hands
distance.
kill,
And he was getting too close.
Yeah.
So I do just remember telling Chris, we need to go.
And up
So-
and behind, and as soon as he pulled out the gun and kind of dropped down to his knees, I
Yeah.
saw you were aiming intently.
Yeah.
Were you seeing your front sight? Were you using
Yeah.
any of your marksmanship fundamentals?
So honestly, the only thing I remember is just the front sight on him. I don't remember even seeing his face until really seeing it here, and just intently focusing on that. I didn't feel threatened because the gun hadn't turned, so I didn't
Yeah.
feel the need to shoot at that point.
Right. But
So-
you knew it was out there. You knew it was dangerous.
Yeah, it was there.
Yeah.
So
So talk to me about when the gun turned. What happened there?
it was slow motion.
Really?
Yeah, there's
So-
no other way to explain it. Just that movement going from his head and pointing, it seemed that time just slowed down tremendously.
So if we go through the elements that we referenced to people,
Yeah.
auditory exclusion,
Yeah.
you didn't hear a lot of what was going on.
No.
Compressed time or expanded time, you saw slow motion movement.
Yeah.
Yep. And did you have tunnel vision? Is there something that you focused
Yeah.
on more than anything else?
Yeah, was just his hands, and then when I had the gun pointed at him, it was just that front sight.
So in
So-
a known situation that you knew this was a training scenario,
Yeah,
you experienced all of those things in an area where stress is maybe 1/10 of what it might be
Yeah.
otherwise.
I kind of got to a point that I forgot where I was and that it was training.
Yeah.
And I think that put my mindset far more into it being real than an actual training scenario.
Well, how do you feel about scenario-based training now?
I would definitely do it again. The emotional side of it afterward has definitely been tough. But yeah, I would definitely do it again.
If you'd like to see Jess's entire journey, it's on your member dashboard. And if you're not a member of the USCCA, right now is a good time to join and watch this journey step by step.